God! God! God!
This was Damon Kemp's reaction as he was wheeled into court. Kemp, who was 19 at the time, is accused of fatally shooting two people, Tree Ingram and Jordan Payton, who were both his roommates. The incident that led to these charges occurred at their shared apartment in Daytona Beach, Florida. Ingram and Payton had allowed Kemp to stay with them and were reportedly trying to help him before the tragic events unfolded. Kemp was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder for their deaths. The courtroom scene was nothing short of cinematic, albeit for the gravest reasons. As Kemp was brought in, his outbursts pierced the solemn atmosphere. Shouting, "God!" the tension escalated as Kemp, denied bond, exhibited erratic behavior, his eyes darting, his expressions unreadable.
I do believe that there is probable cause for the arrest.
This moment, as reported, was not just a procedural step in the justice system, it was a vivid portrayal of a person at the intersection of law, mental health, and societal pressures. Kemp, now 24, was later found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder and armed burglary of an occupied dwelling with assault or battery. Kemp has been held in the Volusia County Branch Jail since his arrest in 2018, and will now have to spend the rest of his life there. In a somber courtroom setting in Brown County, Wisconsin, Taylor Schabusiness, a 25-year-old woman, faced the ultimate judgment for the gruesome killing of 24-year-old Chet Therian in February 2022. Convicted of first-degree intentional homicide, third-degree sexual assault, and mutilation of a corpse, her plea of not guilty and not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect was rejected, with jurors finding her sane at the time of the murder. The chilling details of the crime emerged during the trial. Schabusiness and Therian had reportedly consumed methamphetamine in the basement of Therian's mother's home in Green Bay. What followed was a scene of unimaginable horror. Schabusiness strangled Therian, decapitated him, and dismembered his body, scattering his remains within the house and a vehicle. The discovery of Therian's head in a bucket in the basement by his mother led to Schabusiness's arrest on February 23, 2022. During the sentencing, Brown County Circuit Judge Thomas Walsh expressed the difficulty in fully capturing the heinous nature of the crime, emphasizing the profound shock and indescribable nature of Schabusiness's actions to the community.
This crime offends human decency, it offends human dignity, and it offends the human community. It really does.
Despite the opportunity to speak before sentencing, Schabusiness remained silent when asked if she had anything to say. The defense attempted to humanize Schabusiness, arguing that despite the atrocity, she is not a monster and posited the potential for rehabilitation. Family members and experts were called to testify, painting a complex picture of Schabusiness's life and the circumstances that led to her current predicament. Yet, the judge reminded Schabusiness of her responsibility for her future actions, irrespective of her past. Schabusiness's sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole marks the end of a tragic chapter for the families involved. Schabusiness's violent act and subsequent attack on her previous attorney during a court hearing underscore the case's complex interplay of drug abuse, mental health, and violence. Inside the courtroom of Lake County Common Pleas Court in Paynesville, Ohio, a tense and dramatic sentencing hearing unfolds, capturing widespread attention for its unexpected developments. Manson Bryant, a 32-year-old from Paynesville, stands before Judge Eugene Lucci, marking his 4th conviction and appearance before the judge, under circumstances that would lead to a significant alteration of his fate. Bryant's criminal record, characterized by increasingly violent offenses, led to his conviction for a violent home invasion and robbery. This latest act resulted in a 22-year sentence, reflecting both the severity of his actions and a troubling trajectory of behavior. During the sentencing, Bryant's emotional state fluctuates dramatically. Initially, he attempts to express remorse for his actions, possibly in hope of leniency.
22 years!
However, an outburst directed at Judge Lucci shifts the atmosphere, revealing a side of Bryant that influences the judge's decision profoundly.
The last time before this time that I had him, I put him in prison for 4 years for a robbery. He acted out briefly on his way out of the courtroom, and I just let it go. Well, it was clear that the remorse that he was trying to portray was phony, and that he wasn't remorseful at all, and that if given the chance, if I let him loose on society, he's going to prey on other people.
This wasn't Brian's first disruptive episode in court, but it significantly impacted his sentence. Interpreting Brian's outburst as a clear indication of insincere remorse and unchanged violent tendencies, Judge Lucci decides to extend Brian's prison sentence by an additional 6 years, totaling 28 years. Bryant had to be escorted out of the courtroom by deputies after his outburst. In March of 2019, Bryant began serving his 28-year sentence at the Mansfield Correctional Institution.
Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I worry about me. You worry about your self.
The grim narrative unfolds in a Louisville courtroom, where 33-year-old Kentucky rapper Bryce Rambo Rhodes stands trial for a series of brutal murders that left the community in shock and mourning. Rhodes faced charges for the May 2016 murders of 40-year-old Christopher Jones and teenage brothers, 14-year-old Larry Ordway and 16-year-old Maurice Gordon. The convictions include first-degree intentional homicide among other charges, casting a long shadow over Rhodes' past and future. The violence began with the drive-by shooting of Jones, mistakenly targeted by Rhodes under the belief of a bounty. The situation spiraled further into darkness weeks later when Rhodes killed Ordway and Gordon, fearing they might reveal his role in the previous murder. Their bodies were gruesomely set on fire, an act that underscored the brutality of the crimes. Rhodes' trial was plagued by delays, many stemming from his own conduct in court, including threats against the judge and disruptive outbursts.
Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I worry about me. You worry about your self. I just ask you, why do you keep refusing to get this man off my case when we keep having problems? Do you have something personal against me to where you don't want to remove him?
no, sir. I have something personal against not providing you effective assistance of counsel.
I write the Bar Association and the ACLU, you know. I write them, you know. I see what's going on, you know.
Fair enough. Let's get us a date to come back.
You know. You're going to find out, though. You're going to find out real quick. Promise that.
These incidents painted a picture of a man deeply entangled in violence and chaos. Rhodes was found guilty to the triple homicide and is currently facing a life sentence. A Cincinnati courtroom became the scene of dramatic events as Tracy Hunter, a former juvenile court judge, was taken into custody, marking a controversial climax to her long-standing legal battle. Tracy Hunter, who had served as a juvenile court judge, faced the consequences of her 2014 conviction for illegal assistance provided to her brother, entangled in a job-related dispute. The courtroom atmosphere turned chaotic when Hamilton County Common Pleas Judge Patrick Dinklacker announced Hunter's immediate incarceration, disregarding numerous pleas for leniency.
3, you are to do 6 months in the Hamilton County Justice Center, credit 1 day. Mr. and Ms. Deputies can take her away.
Hunter's response to the ruling was passive resistance. She went limp, leading to her being physically removed from the courtroom. This moment underscored the contentious and emotional nature of the proceedings, further amplified by the arrest of a supporter attempting to intervene. Hunter's conviction centered around accusations of her misusing her judicial position to benefit her brother, Stephen Hunter, in a dispute at his workplace where he was a youth corrections officer. The case has been fraught with appeals and public outcry, particularly focusing on the allegations of political motivations behind her prosecution. After the meltdown, Hunter was dragged out of the courtroom to serve her jail sentence. Today, Hunter is free but has been barred from practicing law.
Thanks for watching. We hope that you found this information both informative and engaging. If you haven't already, Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a new video.